the January 6th hearing has abruptly, started its session yesterday, where it was supposed to adjourn for for some time, about a month, but they essentially met up. The hearings happened yesterday as they had new evidence, and this new evidence was from Cassidy Hutchinson, who says Donald Trump demanded to be driven to the Capitol on January 6th. President Donald Trump says that had been told that some of his supporters were heavily armed when he urged them to march to the U.S. Capitol and sought to join them in trying to stop President Biden's election win, according to the new testimony of the former White House aide that she gave to the House Select Committee investigating the January 6, 2021 attack, where we saw those scenes at the Capitol, called the Capitol riots. Now, the three moments stand out in this hearing. Well, Hutchinson said that she was told that when Trump got back into the presidential limousine, known as the Beast, that was told that he could not join protesters in the Capitol. He lost it, meaning he lost his temper, he lost his cool. And then the president tried to grab the steering wheel, and one of his security details reached to stop him. He grabbed the man's throat. This is what she says she heard happen. The second item that was shocking that was revealed in yesterday's hearing was that President Trump, in expletive-laden language, essentially urged that people with weapons such as guns, knives, and the likes of those be let through the area, essentially before his speech to stop the seal meaning the sealing of Joe Biden's election win. And what was his goal? Essentially, they said that it was to ensure that photographs and videos of the events showed that a packed crowd all listening to him was part of his motive, essentially saying that they're not here to hurt me, is what Trump reportedly told people. And the third thing that came out of yesterday's hearing is that when pressed by White House counsel Pat Cipollone, said something more, that he said, hang Mike Pence. Essentially, this is something that the chants at the U.S. Capitol responded, and Trump thinks Mike Pence deserves it. He doesn't think they're going to do anything wrong. And this is parts of what came out, which is doesn't look so good for the president, but of course, this is all part of the hearing, and she was under oath when she gave her testimony of what she saw, what she heard, also from other people, to share the events of that day.
When I returned to the White House, I walked upstairs towards the Chief of Staff's office, and I noticed Mr. Ornato lingering outside of the office. Once we had made eye contact, he quickly waved me to go into his office, which was just across the hall from mine. When I went in, he shut the door, and I noticed Bobby Engel, who is the head of Mr. Trump's security detail, sitting in a chair, just looking somewhat discombobulated and a little lost. I looked at Tony, and he had said, "Did you effing hear what happened in the Beast?" I said, "No, Tony, I just got back. What happened?" Tony proceeded to tell me that when the president got in the Beast, he was under the impression from Mr. Meadows that the off-the-record movement to the Capitol was still possible and likely to happen, but that Bobby had more information. So once the president had gotten into the vehicle with Bobby, he thought that they were going up to the Capitol, and when Bobby had relayed to him, "We're not, we don't have the assets to do it, it's not secure, we're going back to the West Wing," the president had very strong, a very angry response to that. Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel, and when Mr. Ornato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
And was Mr. Engel in the room as Mr. Ornato told you this story?
He was.
Did Mr. Engel correct or disagree with any part of the story from Mr. Ornato?
Mr. Engel did not correct or disagree with any part of the story.
Did Mr. Engel or Mr. Ornato ever after that tell you that what Mr. Ornato had just said was untrue?
Neither Mr. Ornato nor Mr. Engel told me ever that it was untrue.
There you have it. Those are scenes from the January 6th hearing that took place yesterday.